It all started on an ordinary Thursday night. I was at my favorite local bar just outside of Austin, Texas, a quiet, laid-back spot with good music and even better wings. I had just finished a long week of work and needed to unwind. I wasn't looking for anything or anyone in particular, just a cold drink and maybe a decent conversation with someone who wasn't a coworker. That's when I saw her. She walked in like she had been there 100 times before. Confident, relaxed, stylish without trying too hard. Her name was Jessica. She had this captivating laugh that made everyone around her smile, and when our eyes met, I couldn't help but smile back. She sat near me at the bar, and before long we struck up a conversation. She told me she worked in marketing for a lifestyle brand, had a dog named Peanut, and loved bad reality TV shows. She was funny, sharp, a little sarcastic, and really easy to talk to. I told her about my job, how I hated it sometimes, and we bonded over our mutual love for terrible late-night tacos. As the night wore on, the conversation got a little more playful. At one point, I noticed she wasn't wearing a ring and asked, half joking, "How is someone like you single?" She laughed, leaned in a bit, and said, "Who said I was single?" I paused, thinking she was joking. She smiled again, clearly enjoying the moment. "You're serious?" I asked. "Relax," she said with a wink. "I'm just kidding. Or am I?" We both laughed, and I let it go. I didn't press the topic because, honestly, I was having a great time and didn't want to ruin the vibe. A few hours later, we walked out of the bar together. We didn't go home together. She said she had an early meeting the next day, but she gave me her number and said, "Let's hang out soon." Over the next week, we texted back and forth. It was flirtatious, but not over the top. We talked about everything: music, old family stories, even childhood memories. I felt like I was really getting to know her, like we were actually building something. Then came Saturday. She invited me to a backyard cookout at a house not far from downtown. "It's just a few close friends," she said. "Super chill. Come hungry." I figured, why not? When I showed up, it was even better than I expected. Warm lights were strung across the trees, people were laughing, music was playing, and the smell of grilled burgers filled the air. I spotted Jessica near the grill, flipping corn with tongs like she owned the place. She smiled when she saw me and waved me over. Everything felt right. That is, until a man walked up behind her. He put his arm around her waist, leaned in, and kissed her cheek. She didn't even flinch. She smiled, like it was the most natural thing in the world. I stood there frozen. She looked over and saw the confusion on my face. Her smile faded for a moment, then she said, "Oh, this is my husband, Ryan." I swear, the world stopped spinning for a second. I tried to process what I had just heard. Her husband? No. She had to be joking again. Ryan held out his hand with a friendly smile. "Hey, man. Thanks for coming. Jess told me you were cool." "Cool?" Jessica looked at me with this strange expression, almost apologetic, but not quite. It was like she had expected me to take it lightly, to just play along. Thanks," I mumbled, shaking his hand. I stood there for the next 10 minutes in a fog, listening to Ryan talk about how he and Jess had just celebrated their 6th anniversary and how much they loved hosting little get-togethers like this. She smiled beside him the entire time, never once acting like anything was out of the ordinary. Eventually, I made up some excuse about needing to check on a friend and left early. The moment I got into my car, I just sat there, staring at the dashboard. Everything from the past week suddenly felt like a lie. The laughs, the texts, the flirting, had she just been playing with me the whole time? Or was this something they both were okay with? Later that night, Jessica texted me. "Sorry I didn't say something sooner. It's complicated. Hope you're not mad." Complicated? That was one way to put it. I didn't know how to respond. A part of me wanted to ask what exactly she thought was going to happen. Another part wanted to just block her number and never speak to her again. I didn't respond that night. Or the next day. Eventually, I deleted her number. I still think about that night sometimes, not because I miss her, but because it made me realize something important. Some people will walk into your life and shake everything up, not because they're meant to stay, but to teach you a lesson. And that night taught me one thing loud and clear. If something feels off, it probably is. Trust your gut. And maybe, just maybe, when someone says, "I'm married," don't assume they're joking, because sometimes they're not.